Hey guys, Ron here. How's everyone today? I hope you all said well. Oh boy, now I sound like somebody else. I didn't mean to be another vlogger. Anyway, I'm here at the home where Brittany Murphy and Simon Monjack lived and died just 5 months apart. I'm at the top of the Hollywood Hills here. You can see behind me a little bit. The sun's still out in the city, but here it's all shady. And there's some construction, guys. There's some construction going on right at the house, I think, next door. So I'm going to amble up the hill here. I just saw a young couple speed by in a very nice late model Porsche. Maybe they're the new owners, or one of them's the new owners of the house, since we're at the top of a cul-de-sac. Anyway, this is a really, but like the car, you never know what may happen, even though we're inside of it all the time. I just had lunch with a friend. I haven't seen him in many years. Used to work with him a little east of here on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, so I thought it was a perfect time to come up here. Okay, just checking it out. So, the Brittany Murphy story is really an interesting one, and there's a lot of questions still with a lot of people surrounding her death and even her husband Simon Monjack's death, but particularly her death. I think particularly her death. Although, how is it that 5 months apart, husband and wife that were about 7 or 8 years apart in age both die of pneumonia and possibly other complications? There were theories that there was mold in this house and or that there were thallium or heavy metal poisoning. The coroner says no. A lot of people say must have been. It's just too much of a coincidence. I'm looking behind me at a house here. Look what they're building here, this monstrosity at the top of the hill. Anyway, let's look at the house. So Brittany Murphy was born in Atlanta, and she was a very creative and happy-go-lucky teen, very, very close with her mother, Sharon, and here we are. And then there's Andy Gump right in front of the address. And she wanted to be an actress pretty much from an early age. And she said, you can watch interviews of her, and as like a preteen, she says, I want to go to Broadway and Hollywood. And boy, if she could have retained that preteen kind of spirit, it really would have been something. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Now, it's very interesting, and I'll be telling you about it, that this house, supposedly Simon Monjack, Brittany's husband, had her, they were both sort of sequestered in this house a lot, day and night, in their last, they were only together 3 years. Apparently he spent $3 million in 3 years, $3 million of her money. Anyway, as Brittany Murphy got older, she did succeed in Hollywood. She was doing TV, then she was doing films, and she was on her way. But somewhere along the line, a producer, a casting director, or somebody, an executive said, you're cute, but you're not, let's say, screwable. That isn't the word he used, but it really hurt her feelings very much. And from that point on, looking at the house, this house, from that point on, she was really a different person. She really, it was apparent to fans that she was losing weight, that she was probably on pills. She disputed this, but look, and they're building a huge house here and here. And they've got the view of the whole city. Okay, so I'm glad I checked. Actually, this, I apologize, is not the house. That's the last house on the cul-de-sac. That's 1899. This house here, really, this is the best we can get, the best view we can get. Unfortunately, it's just those windows. And of course, you can see news reports of the press and the coroner and everybody lining up here in front of the 1895 sign. But anyway, let's get back to Brittany Murphy. And the construction workers are about to go home, so they're all coming out. So there's 1895 up there, right there, and that is the home. So Brittany Murphy is told by someone in Hollywood, you're cute, but you're not screwable. So she apparently started to lose weight drastically. Let me show you the other houses on the hill too. Giant. That one's giant. So she started to lose weight. She goes through a succession of boyfriends, including Ashton Kutcher, and a particularly bad breakup apparently with him. She keeps her social life pretty close to the vest. She's not really a partier, or at least meaning she's not known as a person who goes to a lot of Hollywood parties and is seen out a lot. And once she meets Simon Monjack, an apparent writer and producer, a guy who talks big about money, but apparently never really had any money. Apparently his mother said she gave him tons of money. He was about 7 or 8 years older than Brittany. He was not American. In fact, he was on a visa that had expired, so he was technically an illegal alien or an illegal immigrant at that point who had overstayed his visa, and married her. I wish we could see more of the house, folks, but we'll do the best we can. Once Brittany met Simon, it was sort of known as almost like a Svengali type relationship. He took, supposedly, again, he took away her phones. You had to contact Simon to get a hold of Brittany. Even on the movie sets, he would be on the movie sets. Her behavior became erratic. He appeared to be controlling her. He was managing her career. He was even doing her makeup at one point, or for a long time. The director of her very last film said her performance was so uneven, coming in late, acting weird, not remembering the dialogue, presumably from abusing prescription pills along with Simon, that he was ready to fire her. And he said it within earshot of Simon, and Simon overheard and said, no, that's, I'll talk to her. Give me 10 minutes with her. I'll straighten her out. She was his meal ticket, apparently. Now, a lot of bad things said about Simon Monjack. Obviously, I didn't know either one of them. I can't confirm, but apparently they spent a lot of time in this house doing a lot of pills and God knows what else. They also lived for a time with Brittany's mother, Sharon, and Sharon's the one who's heard on the 911 call. And after she died, they went on Larry King, Sharon and Simon, and they said they were crying each night in each other's arms about her. And they looked like a couple. And they acted like a couple. Their head-on shoulder photos, they really looked, it's really creepy, in my humble opinion, to see the photos. They look like a couple, and I don't know how far apart they were in age. Maybe she was 10 years older than him, maybe older, maybe not even 10 years older than him. I don't know, but they certainly looked like a couple, and that was one more crazy thing. So it wasn't determined for a long time what Brittany died of. On the night she died, which was near Christmas in the year 2009, I may have it wrong, folks. Apparently, she was dizzy. Sharon called and said she was dizzy and she couldn't stand up and she had fainted, and they were trying to do mouth to mouth, but she wasn't responding. Well, they had been in Puerto Rico. All three of them. Sharon went along, and this was on the set of the film that, like I said, the last film that Brittany would ultimately be fired from. In Puerto Rico, she got sick, and Sharon said all three of them were sick, but who knows, because later the doctor said that the pneumonia that ultimately killed her, had a large part in Brittany's death, hadn't just come on suddenly. She must have had it, she was walking around with it. She probably got it in Puerto Rico. So, she had been sick. She hadn't gone to the doctor. The doctor hadn't been called by Simon or by her. And what's interesting was, though, on the bed tables, and Simon gives interviews in the house after Brittany's death, there are like 20 there are 20 bottles of pills in pseudonyms for Brittany and in her mother's name, in Simon's name. And it was all very... Blame went right away. Did Sharon kill her? Did Simon kill her? Sharon was supposed to get the estate. She really didn't even end up with much. What happened? Reports started coming out around Simon, saying he was a very unsavory character, owed a lot of money, had trouble with the police, was kind of if not an intentional criminal, somebody who, though they were calling him a sociopath, a psychopath, all kinds of names. Simon basically took to his home. He stayed in this home as he was with Brittany all the time, and just was basically becoming more and more of a recluse, feeling the blame for her death. Eventually they said she had pneumonia and she was severely anemic. Her red cell count was down. She was probably anorexic, very, very thin, especially from when she had been. I actually saw her in a film I really enjoyed called Freeway, Kiefer Sutherland and Reese Witherspoon, 1996. She had one scene and she was great, and she was a normal weight. It was very sad to see what happened to her once she started bleaching and dyeing her hair and getting so skinny. But apparently, Brittany died, according to the coroner, of pneumonia and of this severe anemia. They said she had no alcohol or pills in her system, which is amazing since she was obviously, from the research I've done, folks, I don't know any other way to say it, but in my humble opinion, they were dopers. She and Simon were abusing prescription pills, and it looks like Sharon was abusing pills too. If you watch the Larry King interview, or even 5 minutes of it, Simon looks pretty composed, but Sharon looks really out of it. And she seems to be following Simon's lead, just like Brittany did. They said that he had this hold over them. Now, Sharon is still alive and lives somewhere here in Southern California, but I don't believe she does interviews or talks to the press. So after Brittany's mysterious death, and of course Simon didn't want to do an autopsy, but they insisted on doing an autopsy. Finally, it comes out that she had pneumonia, she had this severe anemia, and God knows what else. And 5 months later, Simon was starting to look worse and worse, profusely sweating when people saw him, incoherent, falling asleep in the middle of sentences. And then he died. He dies in this home, same home. And again, showed he had pneumonia, just like Brittany. So the question is, like I said, two other theories were put out. One, that there was mold in the house. First, Sharon said, no way, there wasn't mold in the house. Apparently, she wasn't affected. But then she later said, yes, there might have been mold in the house. Then somebody said they might have been intentionally killed by thallium, which is a heavy metal poisoning, which people do use to kill people occasionally. Mostly people who are scientists and know how to get a hold of that stuff. But it's very bizarre. And then, even more bizarre, Brittany's father, who had not been involved in her life, sort of came out of the woodwork saying that he was involved with mafia people and he was organized crime, and there might have been a hit on him to warn him or her. It was all very crazy, and it's the kind of thing that unfortunately happens in Hollywood. So we may never know exactly what happened to Brittany or to Simon, but particularly to Brittany. And I think it's very sad what happened to her. If you know me and if you watch my vlogs, you'll know that the work that they do is not nearly as interesting to me as who they are. In other words, I'm fascinated with Elvis the man, not Elvis movie characters so much, or even him. He was an incredible entertainer and singer, but I find this kind of story to be just fascinating, because this is a woman who had so much promise, and she was only 32 years old, and clearly she got involved with the wrong guy, it seems like. Now, nobody forced her to take pills and become anorexic and whatever else they were doing, but I guess after a string of failed romances, Simon just kind of swept her away. And I'm not blaming it all on him. We don't even know that much about him. Even his own parents won't reveal that much about him. But I just think that there was a touch of maybe some mental illness with both of them. He was heavily on antidepressants, anti-anxieties, anti this. So I think there was something, like I say, people have called Simon a sociopath, a psychopath. People have said with Brittany that she was just, something was a little off. And as she moved into her 20s, emotionally, she got more and more unstable. And what's really amazing is, you guys will know better than me. Some of you are much better at pop culture than I. I don't know that Ashton Kutcher or any of her other boyfriends or relationships since have talked about her instability. Perez Hilton was writing at the time that she was unstable emotionally. It's a shame. I mean, what she was as a little girl, teenager, that bright, vivacious girl, as a young woman, as a 32-year-old woman, it was a different story. Hollywood can eat you alive. Eat you alive. And if you're already wavering in the emotional instability department, good luck. That's all I can say to people. Which is another reason I'm kind of glad I didn't pursue film. I was a theater actor, and I did have agents, and I was pursuing the film business, but I thought, I don't think I have the temperament for this. I don't want to end up a junkie jumping off a cliff. And it might have happened. I might have gone from being a straight arrow to God knows what, because it happens to a lot of them. Anyway, okay, folks, that's it for today. Let's look behind us here. Look at that view down the Hollywood Hills. Okay, well, thanks always for watching and listening, folks. Please give me likes, because that's the way the channel moves along. And also, please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I really try to give you the best content possible. And if you do subscribe, please hit the little bell icon next to the subscription button, and you'll be notified as to when I post. All right, folks, so I will see you at the next location here. Ron saying goodbye, over and out. All right.